What's going on? Today, I am excited to be sharing what I think is a really cool application of taking call transcripts from Gong, feeding that into HubSpot, painting a contextual picture of the entire conversation, what deal stage it was had at, sending that package of information over to Clay, and then using Anthropic and Claude to create highly customized call summaries that can be fed back into HubSpot so they're copy paste available for the sales team ready to use. So bear with me, there's a couple steps to this one, but diving in, we're starting in Gong for this to work. So for us, we're using the Gong automation rules to be able to actually configure a webhook. The way that we've configured this is creating a webhook every time a call meets this specific criteria. So in our case, the call type is web conference. All of our deal stage calls happen on Zoom. So we're just going to use the filter to filter out all of the SDR outbound calls. We're also going to use the filter that stage during the call is not empty, meaning that the call is associated with an opportunity in our HubSpot pipeline. So whenever a call meets these criteria, we're going to package all that data and fire it to this HubSpot specific URL. On the HubSpot side, we have a workflow that's set up to actually receive the information from the Gong webhook. So this has just been configured to extract some of the pieces of data from the webhook. Specifically, we're looking at things like the last Gong call system, call ID, of course, call URL, call title, and then I'm just syncing that information over to the associated company as well, because this is happening on the deal record. So once we package up all that information, we're going to send a webhook over to Clay so that we can start to play with the data. So that is the last step of this workflow, is a post request over to Clay. So hopping into our Clay table, you can see all the webhooks that are being received. I've got an associated deal ID, deal stage ID. I'm then using a formula just to map the deal stage ID to the actual name of deal stage that this call happened or was associated with. I've hidden the Gong call ID, but there's a field here for the Gong call ID, and I'm just using a formula to normalize that and remove all the formatting. Once we have the Gong call ID, there's a bunch of great information that we can pull using the new Gong call integration within Clay. So I'm running a bit of a two-step integration here. The first one is to actually get the call details. And the reason for the call details I'll kind of allude to later, but one of the great pieces is having the parties of the call. So who's an internal participant, who's an external participant, as well as the metadata. So things even just as simple as like, what's the title of this call? Because running the Gong call transcript will not give you the metadata of the call title and the participant. So running this sort of two-step API call allows us to use that information later in the AI model. So from there, I'm using a formula to spit out who are the internal parties on this call from our side. And then I use that when I'm generating the 3 challenges here later. So this first step in the prompt, we're just very simply generating an AI-generated follow-up email. And I'm using Anthropic to do this. I think Anthropic, when it comes to text generation, is one of the strongest tools. I think it's just stylistically, it's worked the best for us. So what this prompt is doing is essentially it's a sales assistant that's responsible for summarizing the call transcript and generating a follow-up email. So the input information that I'm feeding into it, I give it the current deal stage pipeline, the name of the company, and the transcript from Gong. And the really cool thing about having like the internal deal stage and the internal stage information is we can continue to adapt this. But the beauty of it is that depending on what stage of deal that this conversation is happening, the AI will adapt the follow-up email. So if it's something like a renewal conversation, the AI follow-up email and the content that we provided it as terms of examples is different depending on if it's a partnership stage, if it's a deep dive, a workshop stage, if it's a mutual action plan stage. So I've actually fed this contextual information around our sales playbook as to how the reps would be expected to follow up with a call or follow up with a conversation at that specific deal stage, so that the AI is working within the bounds of our specific process. The next thing that we're going to do is actually, when it's a deep dive call or an introductory meeting, we're going to use Anthropic again to summarize the 3 challenges. This is a core part of our sales process. So in this case, I'm inputting the call transcript, but I'm also inputting the internal party names. And the usefulness of that is that we're specifically telling this agent that focus only on challenges that the prospect has explicitly stated. Do not focus on challenges that were listed or created or mentioned by people that are internal parties. And that was feedback that we received from the account executives, which is sometimes they'll be the one to identify a challenge. We want to just focus on the challenges that were explicitly stated by the prospect in this case. So these two things get summarized into rich text. So we get a really clean output of the challenge, the summarization, and we're just basically feeding that back into HubSpot as an updating. I've basically just created a custom property group with these AI generated content pieces so that the reps can just take it, copy paste, include it in their emails, and send it off. We also built some error handling around the 3 challenges. If for whatever reason the prospect's having connectivity issues and the call doesn't really take place or doesn't happen, the 3 challenges just get summarized as saying, based on the information in the transcript, there was no challenges identified, and so that's getting sent back in as well. So this is obviously a quick walkthrough of how we're actually making this work, and I think what it highlights is the ability to take a transcript and use prompt engineering to create much more contextually relevant pieces of information for follow-up. If you're relying on the out-of-the-box tooling to create your AI summaries, they don't have the explicit understanding of your sales process, of what the anticipation or the expectation is for those follow-ups, depending on other pieces of data like deal stage. So by us taking the transcript into an environment like Clay, it awards the ability to do all types of text generation and content creation. So these are just 2 examples, but the sky is really the limit here of what we're going to be able to do with this, especially the fact that we've got the intermediate step of the data being sent to HubSpot first. Because of that, we can paint a really robust picture of the entire, whether it's the deal, the contact, or the company. All of our data in HubSpot can be sent into this Clay table and then fed into these AI models when it comes to generating contextually relevant information. So tip of the iceberg, but this Gong integration is new within Clay. So I wanted to make a video highlighting how I've been playing with it and how we're using it. And I'm excited. If you do want this table, I don't think I can share it because there's some sort of proprietary information in here. But if you want to connect with me about how you can leverage Clay or leverage these AI solutions to do this for your business, I'm always open to chatting with people. I'm super excited about all the opportunities here. So feel free to connect with me and we can chat about this more. But thanks so much for watching. Have an awesome day.